In the Chicago Opera House, the staff of Talent Star are busy preparing the stage for the performance. Dewey, who is the assistant manager and a strict neat freak, becomes extremely annoyed by how careless the staff are about keeping the place clean. Suddenly, a giant sign nearly falls on Dewey. A shadowed figure appears and rushes down to steal Dewey's clipboard, causing him to faint immediately. At the same time, Mystery Inc. is on their way to the Opera House. Fred and Daphne have made it into the finals of Talent Star. Daphne feels incredibly excited because she is about to meet her idol Brick. Fred practices for his next performance, which makes Shaggy so absorbed that he almost forgets to drive. Meanwhile, Daphne tries to hide her feelings for Fred. Just then, Velma discovers that the Opera House has been closed since the 1970s due to being haunted. Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are not very surprised, since wherever they go, there are always ghosts or monsters. Soon, Mystery Inc. arrives at the Opera House, but a security guard stops Scooby-Doo and Shaggy because animals are not allowed inside, leaving them with no choice but to comply. Later, Fred, Velma, and Daphne visit Dewey, but he is still unconscious after the shock of seeing the shadowed figure. A staff member finds the stolen clipboard with the words "Christine must win," making Fred realize that this could be a mystery. As the contestants gather at the Opera House, Shaggy is stopped again by the guard, who thinks he is hiding Scooby-Doo inside a piano case, not knowing that Scooby-Doo is actually hiding behind it. Meanwhile, the singer Christine suddenly arrives with her parents and insists on checking the area so she can feel safe performing. Another finalist is Emma. She appears and says she enjoyed Fred and Daphne's performance through the backstage cameras. Soon after, the host of Talent Star, Brick, arrives and reassures everyone that there is no ghost before leaving. Scooby-Doo and Shaggy take the chance to perform for Brick, but he says he does not like juggling acts, forcing them to switch routines. Brick then leaves while they are distracted. A sudden scream frightens Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, and the others rush to the security room. They see the shadowed figure approaching Christine and disappearing repeatedly, forcing Mystery Inc. to act. Fred and Daphne chase the shadowed figure under Velma's guidance. While Brick's excited reaction makes Velma suspicious, Fred nearly gets hurt during the chase but is saved by Daphne. Elsewhere, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy run into the shadowed figure and flee again, while Velma sees it vanish near the stairwell. After regrouping to discuss the mystery, Dewey suddenly appears and angrily throws Scooby-Doo out because of the dog footprints, leaving Mystery Inc. with no choice but to leave. Afterward, they split up to take action. Velma goes to rent a hotel room to rest, but Chrissy's parents suddenly appear and compete with her for the room. Velma takes the opportunity to talk to Chrissy and asks about the ghost that appears in Chrissy's room. Chrissy unexpectedly says that it is not a scream of fear but a scream of excitement, because the ghost tells her that she will win. After Chrissy's family leaves, a magician approaches Velma. The great Paul Dini introduces himself as a finalist on the talent show. Next, Waldo appears. He is also a finalist, performing ventriloquism with his puppet. Finally, Girlosaurus Rex shows up, a gothic dinosaur-themed girl band. Meanwhile, Fred and Daphne secretly return to the Opera House to continue their investigation. They do not expect to run into the building's owner, Mel Richmond. Fred and Daphne begin to suspect that Mel is the ghost, but he explains that he inherits the Opera House after his father passes away, and that it costs him dearly. Everything starts 35 years ago, in the 1970s, when Mel's father turns the place into a nightclub. Although the ghost haunts the building, people are not afraid because they think it is part of the show. They even look forward to the ghost's appearances to liven up the atmosphere. It is only when the ghost destroys the disco ball that people become scared and stop coming to the nightclub. Mel spends many years looking for tenants, and now people say that the ghost has returned. He wishes the place would burn down so he can collect the insurance money, which makes Fred and Daphne even more suspicious. At the same time, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy head to the library to learn more about the Opera House. When the smell of pizza catches their attention, they quickly go inside and order an enormous pizza. Before long, the pizza appears on the table. At first, the waitress thinks Scooby-Doo and Shaggy will not be able to finish it, but after seeing how much they eat, she changes her mind. Even though pizza crumbs are scattered everywhere, the people around them still applaud. Just then, another finalist from the talent show, Latte, appears. She is a singing diva who comes to seek attention. When Latte sees Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, she tells them to deliver her threat to Fred and Daphne, saying that she will crush them in the competition. As a result, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy immediately run back to the hotel in panic. Around the same time, Velma finds some information about the ghost. She suspects that someone is using the ghost's reputation to attract attention, especially because there are two completely different costumes. Even though Velma sees the ghost disappear, she still believes it could be fake. The suspects include Chrissy's parents, because the ghost wants Chrissy to win, Brick, because he uses the ghost to increase the show's viewership, and the building owner Mel, because he wants the insurance money. Dewey and Latte are also possible suspects, as both of them are extremely intimidating. Since it is already late at night, Mystery Inc. decides to rest so they can prepare for the talent show the next day. Later, Velma sleeps soundly when the sound of wind outside suddenly wakes her up. It turns out that Daphne has special feelings for Fred and is too shy to admit them. Meanwhile, the ghost breaks into Latte's room to tamper with her mouth spray. As it is about to leave, it accidentally runs into Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, who go out to look for food. Scooby-Doo and Shaggy then have to run away as the ghost chases after them. In the panic, the two accidentally crash into a laundry cart. As Scooby-Doo and Shaggy tumble into other carts, they unexpectedly run into Dewey. The shadowed figure shows no intention of stopping, so Scooby-Doo and Shaggy rush into the kitchen to hide. It quickly corners them, unaware that running away is what Scooby-Doo and Shaggy do best. When the shadowed figure notices them trying to escape by pushing a table, they bolt outside, only to realize too late that it is a balcony, leaving them with nowhere to run. At that moment, Fred appears from above with a net to capture the shadowed figure. But he does not expect it to escape so easily. When everyone gathers, they see that the net has a hole torn through it. Dewey immediately rushes over to clean up because he is unable to tolerate the mess, while Mystery Inc. begins to suspect Paul Dini even though he has no clear motive. The next day, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy disguise themselves again to get past the security guard, this time as a mother and daughter. At the same time, Dewey gives the contestants a rehearsal before the talent show officially begins. First is Christine, who sings a song that everyone feels is completely inappropriate for someone her age. Next, Emma performs an excellent violin solo, while Mystery Inc. watches from a distance with Emma's parents. Emma's parents explain that if she does not win, the bank will take their farm. Meanwhile, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy run into Brick again. This time they try to show off their flexibility but end up tying themselves into a knot, which scares Brick into running away. When it is Latte's turn, she suddenly cannot sing. She quickly realizes that someone has deliberately sabotaged her and becomes furious. After examining her, the doctor says that Latte will not be able to sing for a week. She is enraged and swears that whoever did this will pay a very high price. Then it is Fred and Daphne's turn and their performance goes perfectly. Paul Dini's act also proceeds without any problems. However, when Waldo takes the stage, his puppet suddenly catches fire. The lights go out and the shadowed figure's voice echoes through the theater, demanding that Christine win. Not wanting to risk his life, Waldo chooses to withdraw. Finally, during Gurlosaurus Rex's performance, their props are suddenly destroyed. The shadowed figure appears on the screen, but from the security room, it seems to appear in multiple locations at the same time. As a result, Gurlosaurus Rex also decides to quit, leaving only Paul Dini, Emma, Christine, Fred, and Daphne. Mystery Inc. then decides to set a trap to capture the shadowed figure by using Fred and Daphne as bait. Soon midnight arrives, but instead of appearing outside, the shadowed figure shows up where Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, and Velma are. When the three run outside, the shadowed figure escapes through a hidden door inside a wardrobe. Mystery Inc. quickly follows the path behind the door and reaches the sewers beneath the Opera House. While searching for the shadowed figure, they hear the sound of an organ. As they try to follow it, a swarm of bats frightens them, causing them to fall into a pipe. Fred reacts quickly and grabs them before they fall deeper. Eventually, Mystery Inc. finds the source of the organ music and sees the shadowed figure performing. The shadowed figure says it has spent its entire life in the sewers, hiding its true face. Now that it can no longer escape, it allows Mystery Inc. to see its appearance. However, everyone remains calm when they realize that the face is completely ordinary. It turns out that Steve looks into a funhouse mirror and concludes that his face has been distorted and become ugly. Fred and Daphne quickly ask why he sabotages the talent show, but he replies that he knows nothing. He says that he has spent the past 40 years living and hiding underground and only comes up through a hidden door to look for food. Steve admits that he is the shadowed figure back in the 1970s, and that the loud music from the nightclub causes him constant headaches. However, sabotaging the place has left him living in guilt ever since. At that moment, Mystery Inc. suddenly hears screams coming from the Opera House and rushes over. Paul Dini says that he is preparing for his performance when the shadowed figure knocks him down and even starts a fire inside the Opera House. Seeing this, Mystery Inc. decides to split up. Fred chases after the shadowed figure, while Scooby-Doo and Shaggy put out the fire. However, in a moment of carelessness, Fred falls, just as the shadowed figure is about to kick him. Fred pulls it down with him and the two struggle on the ground. Steve suddenly rushes in and kicks the shadowed figure away. Velma immediately pulls off its mask and reveals Mel Richmond. Mel's plan is to burn down the opera house to collect the insurance money, and it would have succeeded if not for Mystery Inc.'s interference. However, something is still wrong. The lights suddenly go out again, and the shadowed figure's voice echoes through the building, saying that it wants Christine to win. Meanwhile, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy continue running after being spotted by the security guard. Just as the guard thinks he has caught them, he is shocked to discover that Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are hiding above instead of below. At that moment, the two spot Brick and jump down to perform their act. This time, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy try to impress Brick by telling jokes, but the performance is terrible, causing Brick to call security. Just then the others appear, forcing Brick to quietly close the back door. He quickly leads Fred and Daphne away, while Velma takes the opportunity to sneak inside. Noticing that the equipment is still running, Velma becomes suspicious. She quickly heads to the security room to review old footage and search for more evidence. Later, the final night of the talent show begins, thanks to the appearance of the shadowed figure. The show becomes more famous and attracts a large audience. Soon, host Brick appears to introduce the contestants, including Emma, Fred and Daphne, and finally Christine. In the talent show, the winner is decided by audience votes. After the introductions, Brick gives the stage to Christine's performance. Meanwhile, in Emma's preparation room, the shadowed figure suddenly appears and prepares to sabotage her violin, but Mystery Inc. catches it in the act. As the shadowed figure runs outside to escape, it crashes into Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. At this point, Mystery Inc. realizes that the third shadowed figure is Christine's father and the one who has appeared from the beginning to the end. After that, it is Fred and Daphne's turn to perform. While Scooby-Doo and Shaggy hurry to look for Dewey, they realize that Dewey could be the fourth shadowed figure. Thanks to the lemon scent Scooby-Doo previously smells on the shadowed figure, based on what they hear through the earpiece borrowed from Brick, they realize that Dewey is searching for the soap diamond. Scooby-Doo and Shaggy quickly pull Velma along with them, as she has just found the tape. As soon as Mystery Inc. flees the opera house, they see Dewey stealing the soap diamond, which is on display in the nearby Mineralogical Society. However, in his escape, Dewey trips and drops the soap diamond. Not giving up easily, Dewey chases after Mystery Inc. in his supercar to retrieve it. He recklessly speeds towards Scooby-Doo, but Mystery Inc. pursues him closely. Scooby-Doo, taking advantage of Dewey's distraction, snatches the soap diamond and jumps into Velma's arms. Dewey, oblivious to what is ahead, crashes into a paint truck. Just as Mystery Inc. breathes a sigh of relief, Dewey reappears. Although Fred tries to shake him off, Dewey unexpectedly charges forward, resulting in a collision between the two vehicles. Realizing Dewey will stop at nothing to get the soap diamond, Fred runs straight onto the bridge being built. But he doesn't expect Dewey to crash into the mystery machine to deflect it. Dewey even abandons his supercar just to jump ahead. And soon he uses his sword to corner Mystery Inc. When they wonder what Dewey's true purpose is, he says he wants to complete his collection of treasures with a clean theme. Dewey has stolen 2 treasures before and now only needs the soap diamond to complete his collection. Although facing Dewey's sword, Fred shows no fear and throws the soap diamond down to make Dewey jump after it. It turns out he had swapped the contents beforehand, and the police quickly arrive to arrest Dewey. Meanwhile, at the opera house, Emma finishes her performance. As soon as the voting ends, Christine is left far behind by the other 2 contestants, because Fred and Daphne's scores are equal to Emma's. They have to perform an additional act to determine the winner. Meanwhile, Mystery Inc. is escorted back to the opera house by the police. Velma doesn't forget to explain that Dewey is the shadowed figure who disappears on the stairs. Dewey uses a different video clip to make it look like he vanished. Furthermore, Velma says she has found another video clip to show when they get back. At the same time, Emma finishes her second act and receives applause from the audience. Mystery Inc. also returns to the opera house just in time for Fred and Daphne to prepare for another act. Although they have no songs left and no rehearsals, Daphne improvises and uses her feelings for Fred to write a love song. As soon as the song ends, Fred and Daphne share a kiss. The audience below is captivated by the song, so Fred and Daphne's scores are higher than Emma's. However, when they see Emma's sad eyes, they decide to concede the victory to her. With the silly jokes Fred and Daphne have learned from Shaggy, their scores quickly drop below Emma's. Brick officially announces Emma as the winner of the talent star, but the screen unexpectedly shows Brick disguised as a shadowed figure, causing him to flee. When he is surrounded, He tries to defend himself, saying that he does all this to gain more viewers for the talent star. At the end, the fifth and final shadowed figure is captured.